Council, it's a great pleasure that we welcome Bill Shorten and Tanya Hlibasek to today's book launch, This has been a long campaign of many years to get a decent funding model for the children in our schools. And as we've said in the past, this is a campaign that will never cease. We will be acting in the interests of our nation and our children to make sure they get the funding that they deserve to reach their potential. It's my job to introduce Karina Haythorpe to you. Karina will introduce our guests. Karina Haythorpe is from South Australia, a teacher from South Australia who's now the President and leader of the Australian Education Union, and since the departure of Angela Gavriladis has been at the forefront of ensuring our national campaign has been as effective as it has been. So please, can you put your hands together and welcome Karina Haythorpe.
Thank you, Maury, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for hosting us this morning. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge that we're meeting on the Gadigal lands of the Eora Nation and pay our respects to the custodians of this land, past and present, but also to the children of the future, because that is what Gonski is all about, making a difference for not only our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children, but all children who come from a disadvantaged background. We're very excited to be launching our Getting Results report today. And I'll just go through some acknowledgements for you in terms of our invited guests. So firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the Honourable Bill Shorten, Leader of the Opposition. Welcome. The Honourable Tanya Hlibasek, Deputy Leader of the Opposition. Also in attendance today, we have Mr Jihad Dib, New South Wales Shadow Minister for Education, Ms Diane Giblin, Chief Executive Officer of the Australian Council of State School Organisations, Mr Philip Spratt, President of the Australian Council of State School Organisations, and of course Maury, President of the New South Wales Teachers Federation, and our fantastic delegates who've been with us every step of this campaign. So welcome. Thank you. We also have two very special guests today. We've got Lila Malachik, who is the Principal of Marylands High School, and Sarah Rudling, the Principal of Barrack Heights Public School. Both Sarah and Lila will share their stories about how Gonski has made a difference and are profiled in our book, Getting Results, Gonski Funding in Australian Schools. I have some apologies for you today. Mr Peter Reardon, Acting Secretary, New South Wales Department of Education, Senator Richard Di Natale, Leader of the Australian Greens, Mr Adrian Piccoli, New South Wales Minister for Education, and Ms Jenny Boyle, Principal of Katoomba High School. And it is important to tell you that we also invited the Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, however we did not receive a response to our invitation. So colleagues, ever since the Gonski agreements began in 2014, there have been voices telling us that money does not make a difference, or that throwing money at our schools won't lift educational standards. And yet schools are telling us the exact opposite, that Gonski funding finally gives them the chance to do the things that they need to do so that their students can reach their full potential. The 24 schools profiled in the Getting Results report are just some of the many, many schools which are using their Gonski funding to change the lives of our students. Our school communities know what their students need. They know the unique challenges that our students face and the programs that will make a huge difference for every child. Most of the schools in this report have high levels of disadvantage. Students from low socioeconomic backgrounds, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students, students from refugee backgrounds with limited English skills, or students with a high level of disability and learning difficulties. They have complex challenges which need extra help, from in-class support to extra literacy and numeracy programs to speech pathology. And the difference that these programs can make to our children is vitally important, something that we need every politician to understand. The Gonski Review found that the best use of education dollars was to spend extra money on our disadvantaged students. And we know that 1 in 5 students start school not ready to learn. And disadvantage starts very early, and if it's not addressed, it will only get worse. That student who starts school without the skills to learn may become one of the 20% of young people not in education or full-time work if we do not take action. School is the best chance, and sometimes it's the only chance to turn lives around. Investing in our children and their education takes time and resources to get results. And we are less than halfway through the 6 years of the Gonski agreements. We know that 2/3 of the extra funding is to be delivered in 2018 and 2019. And I have to ask, why would any politician want to stop Gonski halfway through when the evidence is clear that it's working in our schools? The results in this report are just the beginning. We need the full 6 years of Gonski to ensure that every child that needs help will be able to get that help. I'd like to invite Sarah Rudling to talk to you about what Gonski has meant for Barrack Heights Primary School. Thank you, Sarah.
Good morning. I am Sarah Rudling, the leader of a school that is committed to educational excellence. It is my absolute pleasure to stand here before you today and tell the story of my school, Barrack Heights Public School. I work in a school that delivers innovative, locally significant, culturally appropriate, high-quality educational programs that engage all students in a journey of personal growth and learning. If schools like mine don't have appropriate resources, students miss out on opportunities. It's as simple as that. At Barrack Heights Public School, we take on challenges. We work within a complex, socially challenged and disadvantaged community. By we, I mean all of us, students, staff and community. We work together as partners and we work hard. We have to. We are committed to making political rhetoric a results-based reality. The Gonski needs-based model of funding is allowing us to do this more effectively than ever before, to make sure that all of our students have a solid platform in which to become active and informed citizens of the future. We have targeted funding to put children in the best possible position to engage with their learning, to be happy and productive at school. Funding has given us the flexibility to pay for additional staff, including speech therapists, occupational therapists, mentors and specialist teachers, to work intensively with children with additional needs or learning difficulties. At this young age, children can improve quickly, and with the right support and such well-targeted resources, children that need support can access it without delay. We have created 2 alternate learning classes, which include children from Years 2 to Year 6 with behavioural difficulties, learning difficulties, and/or a confirmed disability. Each class is capped at 15 students with an experienced teacher supported by a full-time aide and an extra teacher for part of the day. Giving these students one-to-one support has made a huge difference. And I'm very proud to say that many of these students have been able to return to mainstream classes within a year of this targeted support. We have a lot of great stories from classrooms. 3 years ago, I started working with a child who didn't have the confidence to stay in class. He wouldn't attempt to read or write or even interact with his peers. Just recently, I was able to induct him into our school parliament as the Deputy Governor-General. He is now confident, he's committed to his learning, and he's doing so well at school. This was made possible with Gonski money and the dedicated work of our staff. Good teaching is labour intensive. We need to invest time in children to get the rewards. And that takes money that too many schools don't have. We've also used our Gonski funding to lift the quality of teaching in our school, because that will benefit every student. This has included professional learning programs for teachers and other staff in literacy and numeracy, and also peer mentoring and coaching. We are also investing additional training to promote a culture of excellence in trauma-informed practice. This ensures that our staff have the capability and knowledge to assist and understand the needs of students who have suffered trauma, and to make sure that they have the skills to deal with every student that they teach. A lot of a child's learning happens outside of school, but kids from our community often don't get the same range of experiences as other kids. We're using Gonski funding to run programs in experiential learning, languages, cooking, drama, martial arts, photography and swimming. These activities take advantage of our teachers' skills and passions, but they require additional funding for the benefits they deliver to our students. These programs develop our students' self-esteem and a broader view of the world in which they live. It is essential and necessary to deliver this component of real-world education to create equity for the children of Barrack Heights. Across all measures, Gonski funding has improved student achievement at Barrack Heights Public School. It has made such a difference, not just to our students, but their families and the community. What a success story. That's why I'm so proud. But where to now? If we were to benefit from the full Gonski funding, which we look forward to because of the high level of learning needs of our students, we would continue our commitment to excellence in education. We would employ more specialist teachers, speech therapists, occupational therapists, trauma specialists and counsellors. We would expand on our literacy and numeracy programs. We would have some additional support for our students in out-of-home care and foster care, and continue to enhance both teacher and support staff's professional learning. I don't think people realise the impact that well-funded schools have on children, not just for their education, but for their sense of hope and their sense of achievement, so that they can take that back to their families and to their communities. Properly funding our school sends a message that our kids are important and that the broader community values them and wants them to succeed. It makes sense to continue Gonski funding for our children and our community. We need to make sure that all children grow up with the knowledge, skills, understanding and passion to be the great citizens that we need them to be. This is what I believe in. This is what we all believe in. Thank you.
What a powerful, powerful story of Gonski making a difference. Thank you very much for sharing with us, Sarah. I'd now like to invite Lila up to share Maryland's story as well. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. As a young man in his new country, he is entitled to access quality education locally. He has come to Australia as a 17-year-old refugee without family of any description and often had home utilities cut off. Yet through a personalised learning program, which was appropriately resourced, his life experience possibilities and opportunities are now much richer, and justice is now at full-time TAFE. David, a proud ATSI young man, is legally blind, had a mother who had significant health issues, his education was frequently broken, and as a 12-year-old, David experienced a significant life trauma that most of us cannot imagine. He is now in his second year of university doing teaching. Angela, an NESB student who worked hard throughout her schooling education, but she often needed to access additional support, especially in her final 2 senior years. She is also now at university doing industrial design, and she works at Marylands High School as a paraprofessional to support other students. And I have so many more stories. Each one of us have so many more stories about real young people, but Gonski made this possible. Access to quality education is not only an entitlement, it is an absolute basic human right. As a principal leading a school in a low socio-economic community, I loudly proclaim that Gonski has begun to afford the young people in our school access to their entitled quality education. Our school community continues to develop and implement programs and employ additional expert personnel best suited to meet the learning needs of students in Marylands High School at this point of time. We have the skilled learning engagement team. We have refugee officers. We have additional learning support expert staff who all lead programs, who all work with small groups of students, and who all work with the staff as well. This strategic, resourced and collaboratively developed whole school approach changes and enriches learning, self-esteem, choices and opportunities. Early Gonski at Marylands High School is a tipping point for us. Student retention is growing. Individual education plans exist for 100% of our students. We have ongoing improvements in attendance, and this includes recent trend data of an increase of 5.1% in recent years. And significant increases, of course, also in school enrolments, with a 15% increase over that same period of time. So that's the confidence that the community has in the school. We are witnessing aspirational goals broaden with unprecedented offers and separately acceptances to university as an aspiration not previously seen. Our high school certificate results are flourishing, with ATARs now in the top bands, which is fantastic, the very highest. This includes an 8.3% improvement in the highest two bands of bands 5 and 6, a 5.2 improvement in the middle band of band 4, and a 13.36 improvement in the lower achieving bands of 1, 2 and 3, and that is continuing trend data. Those students, and it's been quite a number of them, are now returning to school as either role models and or paraprofessionals, helping and working with the next cohort of students in our school. In fact, further recent data shows 63% of students who are ATAR students are accepting university courses. This has trebled within 2 years. The Gonski education reform is enculturating and enriching newly achievable and accessible aspirations. We must sustain that. I see the change. I see the light of opportunity in my students' faces, and each one of them with a life story that touches heart and mind. Many of our refugee students are now pursuing tertiary education. Proud parents, family or carers, depending on their situation, resettling in our country speak of never imagining such a possibility for their children. Gonski makes this possible. Gonski has made it a reality. We are seeing further impressive data, a 20% increase in the percentage of students studying ATAR pattern of study at school now in the first few years of Gonski, and further, approximately 62% of those attending university in the last 2 years, as I noted previously, are first-generation university learners. 100% are, of course, from low SES community, with a further 59% having a language background other than English, and 15% as refugee students now attending university. This is absolutely life-changing for each student captured in this data. Therefore, it is going to be life-changing for the social capital of their school community and consequently for Australian society. Each percentage that we speak about is a story about a young person that I know in my school or you know in your school, and we have dedicated our work life to improving their situation and their access to education. The culture of expectations and achievements has transformed our school community. This has not happened in the previous several decades. We cannot stop our pursuit and our advocacy. Our working lives are committed to the betterment of education for each young person. For Justus, for David, Angela that you heard about, Heba, Grace, Ali. We, educators, parents, academics, the voting public, are responsible for ensuring we fight to provide a legacy of quality education in Australia as an absolute priority. Thank you.
Okay, Bill.
Thank you, Lilla. Yet again, another powerful story of the transformative power of education and the importance of resources. Both of these stories can be found in our reports, and I would urge you to go and read them. Thank you.